welcome to TMZ Live. Take a look at this mugshot. This is the Bachelorette. Her mugshot.
Your new Bachelorette.
Her mugshot in 2023. She was arrested and pled guilty to an aggravated assault. And she is still on probation as she appears on The Bachelorette to pick the love of her life.
Right. This case is still hanging over it. She's on probation. It was an aggravated assault. It was a domestic violence situation. There were more charges. She basically struck a plea deal. The 4 charges were dropped, and she pled guilty in abeyance, which in Utah means basically...
It means that you keep your nose clean for 3 years in this case, and it will never go on your record.
So that 3-year mark is coming up in August this year. So as of now, she still has to be on her best behavior. And as we told you, she is under investigation now due to some allegations from her ex and father of her son.
For exactly the same thing, for assault. Right. He has gone to the Department of Children and Family Services, filed complaints of child abuse against her, which she denies.
And in fact, she claims that it was actually Dakota, her ex, who was physical with her.
So right now, the DCFS has ordered both of them to undergo a psych evaluation. So what you got to think of right now is the show premieres on Sunday. And
The Bachelorette, that is.
The Bachelorette. And you got to wonder, what did producers know and when did they know it?
Right. How did they, by the way, how did they not know all of this? And there's 2 ways to look at it. They didn't know because they didn't want to know and they sort of turned a blind eye, or they knew and they thought, this is perfect drama and this is exactly who we want as the Bachelorette.
It is hard to imagine how they didn't know, because the incident for which she pled guilty was on the show, was on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So you don't have to do a lot of deep digging and research to find that out.
And even finding out that she's on probation, I'll be honest, wasn't that hard for us to find.
So ABC has now hired a crisis PR manager to handle all of this fallout. And the show is already in the can. So she's gone through it. She's apparently picked somebody. And now the show is trying to figure out, what are we going to do when all of this stuff is coming out? Did they know about all this stuff is the question.
Yes. So joining us now to talk about what goes on behind the scenes at a show like The Bachelor, someone who's done that. Michael Carroll was a producer on the show for several seasons in the early 2000s, and he is joining us now. Michael, welcome to TMZ Live.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So, Michael, it's a different world from the time you were there to the time we're looking at now. But you're in the business. You know how it works. How strict was it when you were doing it, and what do you think's going on here?
Unbelievably strict. You pretty much had to be a Mormon wife at that point. Like, you had a background check, you had a medical check, mental capacity check, you had all the things. But they wouldn't even let anyone who had any kind of charges against them. And you were just a clean teen back there if you were on the show.
So how does someone like Taylor Frankie Paul, who not only has had a lot of incidents, but I mean, those incidents have played out on another show. So that's the part that we just don't get here. Like, this seems like it was a willful decision to bring on someone because they had to have at least looked at her other show, right?
100%. The casting department, at least with executive producers, was completely aware of who this person was, especially because it seems to me like a publicity grab to get this contestant. You know what I mean? So they're like quickly going to do all of this and do the quickest vetting they can do, but they're going to know everything. And like, I just looked up on AI 30 minutes before this interview about her, and it showed the charges. So everyone knew, they all knew, at least the executive producer team and the casting team. Maybe not lesser producers, because they might have wanted to keep that bias out of their head, but everyone knew.
So we spoke with somebody connected to the show currently who said that there was a change in executive producers not too long ago, and that they are resetting things and taking more chances and playing looser because they want a broader audience. And I would think they looked at Dancing with the Stars, where they started bringing in these young people, and the ratings went up, and maybe they were thinking the same thing. But what we're told is they were playing fast and loose in this case.
Yeah, fast and loose is great, but you're still not going to cast this person within 1 week because they need to know as much as they can to make a story out of her. And executive producers are going to know everything about her. It's just, there's no way. I mean, her signing a contract, they're going to have prior to this happening. Even if it's in 3 days, they'll know everything. Doesn't matter if there's a change.
ABC hired a crisis manager. And what I'm wondering is, do you think ABC knew about this, or that they're blindsided kind of after the fact?
Is it possible that the Bachelor production crew and producers knew about it, but the network didn't?
There is no way ABC could have been blindsided with this. They're in total cahoots with executive producers up until the moment of filming, and they're day one at least in the control room. So they're going to know exactly who this person is, especially if they're a late vetting to get them pushed through. They're going to be all over it because every day they're going to be like, has her medical come in? Has her blah, blah, blah. Like, it's even more Fast and Furious than if she had been cast 6 months prior. So they're even more thorough when it comes in late like this.
So, Michael, well, we should say the whole show this whole season's been shot already, except for, the finale, I guess, or the reunion.
Sure.
But, Harvey mentioned this earlier, that the landscape has changed a lot from when you were working on this show. Is it possible that, meaning that there's a lot more competition now, and where The Bachelor and Bachelorette were always thought of as sort of the classy relationship dating show, now you have Love Island, Temptation Island.
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind, Too Hot to Handle, or whatever it's called. So
janky wins.
Exactly. You've got, and is that maybe where their heads are, the producers of The Bachelorette?
Because it looks tame by comparison, and people don't want tame.
Yeah, 1,000%. I did Temptation Island the first 2 seasons, and it was, I was like, wow, the contrast in this is amazing. I wonder if this is how it's going, But yeah, I mean, the times do change, and it is a little more permissible now to have someone with a past, I think. But this one just seems a little out of nowhere. But I could imagine them saying, why not? Let's roll the dice. Let's roll the dice on it. Everyone has a past. Everyone's done something they're not proud of. And you can always use the spin, which I think they probably will, that this is what she needs to turn her life around, is the Bachelorette, and yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Like, Michael's still producing.
Right? If I was them, I'd have her come out and make a complete statement about, I'm in a better place now, but just know that I was involved in such turmoil and such a difficult situation that it doesn't turn around one day. So of course this is crept back in, but I know that I'm in love, and blah 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 blah. They can turn this around and just own it, but they had to have known this.
So finally, the skeptical me, dare I say, would say that the 98th season of The Bachelorette is not going to get a whole lot of attention, especially when you got Love Island out there and all these other shows. So, how do you get attention for a show that is kind of mature? Well, you cast
train wreck. And you find yourself a good train wreck, a good-looking one.
Yeah, and speaking of mature, that's why they just come off a season of Golden Bachelor. You know what I mean? So their audience is changing, and it is a little stale at 24 years old, which is crazy that the show's been on that long. So yeah, you do need something. So I assure you, they were fine with a shakeup and a mishap. This, to me, is going to make everybody want to watch. Now I'm kind of like wanting to watch it. I haven't watched in years.
I agree with you.
Right? Yeah. Bad publicity is good publicity at this point in time.
Ain't it the truth? Ain't it the truth?
Well,
Michael, thank you so much for being with us, man. We appreciate your insight from the bowels of The Bachelor and Bachelorette.
From the OG Bachelor world. Absolutely, guys. Thank you. Cheers to you.
Thanks so much, Michael.
Coming up.
There is big news in the case involving the singer David. So Neo, maybe his best friend,
now,
is no longer his best friend.
He's been saying he knows a lot. He says he's got receipts and that there's more to this than what you've seen in the news. Well, he's shared that with the grand jury.
Be right back.
So there is big news in the case involving the singer David. He is basically the target of a grand jury investigation now in the death of Celeste Rivas, who was found in the trunk of his Tesla.
Yeah.
So Neo, maybe his best friend for a long, long time, is no longer his best friend.
Yeah, now formerly best friend. We told you that Neo was arrested in Montana, brought back to L.A. to go before the grand jury last month, and there was something weird that happened. He went in, but he was only there for 40 minutes. Well, now we know what happened.
Well, we assumed when he was there for 40 minutes, the working theory was he took the fifth because this prosecutor, Beth Silverman, just grills people for a long, long time. And in Neo's case, 40 minutes is nothing. So we assumed he just clammed up, wouldn't talk, and especially because she had him arrested in Montana for failing to appear and brought him over.
Well, turns out he did talk. And he's been saying he knows a lot. He says he's got receipts and that there is more to this than what you've seen in the news. Well, he's shared that with the grand jury.
Well, here's the thing. He didn't share a lot because he decided he didn't have a lot to share. And that's why it was only 40 minutes. So this gets a little bit confusing. But what we're told is, look, Neo says he had absolutely nothing to do with it. And it seems the DA now agrees with that he had nothing to do with it. There was talk that he went on that mysterious trip with David last spring to a remote area of Santa Barbara in the middle of the night. We're now told he was not in that car, and he has no knowledge even of how Celeste died, and that's why it was only a 40-minute. That was 40 minutes of testimony. But why did he say last Friday on Instagram, "I know a lot more than what's in the news"? That makes it sound like he knows something, and that's what's confusing.
He would certainly know more about David and Celeste's relationship. Maybe he doesn't know anything about her death.
I don't know. Let's bring in our pal.
Yes, joining us now, your co-host from Two Angry Men, Mark Garagos. Welcome back to TMZ Live.
Thanks, guys. I just have one question. Who's telling you what happened during that 40 minutes?
Oh, tell me. Do you have intel?
Yeah, I don't think you're getting accurate.
No. Mark, I'm telling you, on this one I am. He absolutely did not
don't
take
say it like that. You say, on this one I am, like you're not normally.
Well, he did not take the fifth. No.
You see, you did.
I know. But Mark and I have talked about this, and we both felt he took the fifth. I can tell you, Mark, yes. I know for a fact he did not take the fifth.
Right. I don't, knowing Beth Silverman like I do, having seen her in a courtroom the many times that I have, the idea that somebody would all of a sudden, after she's having arrested in Idaho and brought back, that she just let it lie for 40 minutes. I would bet dollars to donuts as I sit here with my granddaughter buying her donuts that never happened that way. So I push back on that. It'll be interesting to see. We can bet on the predictive markets, but at some point there will be a grand jury transcript that is unsealed, and I'm going to save this tape because I'm going to bet that this did not happen the way you're being told it happened.
You can bet, but you don't know my sources on this. I'm telling you, he did not take the fifth. Take it to the bank, or withdraw the money from the bank and give it to me once you lose the bet.
If he did not,
I'll hold the money here. How about I'll just hold the money? What are we talking about?
Neither have I trusted him enough for that.
Charles is escrow holder.
No, I don't trust him enough for that. But no, Mark, I'm telling you, he didn't take the fifth. I'm surprised at this, but I really drilled down last night, and you and I had a theory about this, which I agreed with, and I'm telling you, he didn't take the fifth.
So this is what I'm going to do, Harvey. If you'll wait until tomorrow, now that I know that you've got this information, I am going to test this information, and I will see you tomorrow.
Well, it really does show a lack of trust, Mark. That's kind of my issue right now. It's kind of a lack of trust.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that your source may be manipulating you. Your source may be manipulating you. There's no way this makes any sense.
I'm telling you, he did not take the fifth.
I'm telling you, if he didn't take the fifth, and he sat there and said, I don't know.
No, I'm not saying
there's nothing about
But what
that.
if he had actual evidence that he wouldn't know, that he wasn't with him in Santa Barbara, that he doesn't know? I mean, he says he has receipts. I don't know what those are.
Something. In order for that to be warranted, there had to be probable cause for a judge to issue a warrant to have him extradited.
Well, of course, he
back
violated a subpoena.
Either would have been a body attachment. Correct.
Yeah, he violated a subpoena.
No way
That's the
she's
probable
gonna let
cause.
that lie for 40 minutes.
I liked you better when you were outside by the propane tanks. Your signal was a lot better.
By the propane tanks, I know.
Well, all I can say is good luck, because whoever you go to, it's not going to be as good as my sources.
Ooh.
Oh,
we got a source off here. Well, listen,
yeah,
again,
we will have a source off.
$100, I'll hold yours. Mark, this Venmo me, and I will hold it. I'm the escrow here. Happy to be escrow.
This will be my escrow holder right there.
Okay, we can agree on that.
She seems trustworthy.
She's precious.
Okay.
We got you.
Very trustworthy.
Okay, we'll talk to you later this
Enjoy
week.
the
Talk to you
donuts.
tomorrow.
We'll
Thanks,
talk about
you guys.
we'll talk about this on Two Angry Men this week. How's that?
It's a deal,
We
because
can settle the bet.
we'll settle the bet then.
Yeah,
Okay.
we will settle it in the schoolyard. See ya. Pull out the red bathing suits, because Baywatch is back. And the new cast of Baywatch showed up at Venice Beach today, early in the morning, in their red bathing suits, which is the iconic look of the OG.
I hope they got new ones. They didn't just dust those off from the old cast.
No,
right?
they look good,
They
I
look
gotta
pretty
say.
fresh. Yeah.
So, new cast, Brooks Nader,
Nader,
Livy Dunn, Stephen Amell, all sorts of new faces.
David Chokichi.
So here's the recon we have, and you can kind of read between the lines here. Brooks Nader, who's, I think, becoming just a big star, she didn't know how to swim. And she doesn't quite say it here, but if you read between the lines, you're going to figure it out.
Have you been taking, like, acting lessons?
Yes, of course. I'm gonna surprise everyone, Charlie.
What about swimming lessons? How you going?
Every day.
You do?
The hottest swim trainer ever.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Did you do swimming growing up?
Not really.
Oh, really?
Didn't grow up rich, didn't have swim lessons, but I'm making up for it. I'm an Olympic swimmer now.
Oh, I love that.
Oh my
She didn't know
God.
how to swim when
Yeah,
she got the role.
A little problematic, considering like
It's
the
not
whole
that
show is
problematic.
about running into the ocean and saving people from
Running
drowning.
into the ocean. How often did you see the cast of Baywatch really swimming?
Well, they're all running into the ocean
That's
like
not
this
swimming.
slow-mo, but they're
That's
in
not
the
swimming.
water.
That's the original cast.
Yeah.
They're not swimming.
It takes one big wave here
That's
to take
what
you down.
That's what the stunt people
Here's
are for.
what you need to do. You need to be able to run in slow motion, which Brooks, by the way, has mastered.
Yes.
She knows how to do that.
Yes, but we do
You know-
also know that she has been working with a swim coach these past couple
So
weeks
she
and
said-
training twice a day.
She said, hottest swim coach ever. I wish Charlie had asked. I want to know, who's
Who
the swim
is it?
coach?
Is it you, Harvey?
Is it a he or she? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Anyway.
Best gig, though. Best gig in town.
Okay, I'm just going to admit it.
Oh.
That I did talk to Brooks last week.
Right. We know that you had a lunch meeting.
And I
a
told,
lunch meeting is what you had.
It was more
It's a lunch meeting.
4 o'clock-ish.
Okay.
But it
That's
was
dinner for Harvey.
Happy hour. Yeah, exactly.
I gave her the secret to swimming well.
What is the secret?
You got to pay me for that.
Swim?
Okay, you're
arms?
not the swim coach she was referring to.
Breathing. No, she told me.
Oh, okay.
I told her how to breathe, and she said, "Oh my God, that's great." And so I don't know whether she's done that, but breathing is the key to swimming. Once you master breathing, everything else falls into place. It's just true.
It's true with life also. You just gotta breathe.
Coming up.
Well, the Nancy Guthrie case is now turning political. There is someone who is calling for a recall. They want the sheriff out of office, and they are running ads for it.
To recall Sheriff Nanos.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
Phoebe Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say, look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at. Well, the Nancy Guthrie case is now turning political because the sheriff, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos, who we saw so much through the month of February in the heart of the investigation as they were searching for Nancy's abductors. And now he's being, primarily because of how that case has gone, there is someone who is calling for a recall. They want the sheriff out of office, and they are running ads for it. This is someone who is going to be running for Congress, and he is now leading the charge to get Nanos kicked out of office.
Hey everybody, Daniel Butetis here, running for United States Congress, out here getting petitions signed to get on the ballot. I'm also out here getting petitions signed to recall Sheriff Nanos. And I'm looking for people to help us out, get involved, go out, get signatures. You can have Democrats, Independents, Republicans sign these as long as they live within Pima County. So we would really appreciate it if y'all would get involved, help us get these done, get these signed, and let's get the sheriff out of office and get someone in there that we can feel confident in.
Well, he went on. There are reasons why they say they want him recalled.
Yeah.
So this is one. Nanos has been an embarrassment to Tucson and to Pima County with this Nancy Guthrie case. So here's the thing about this, because I'm split. Number one, he has done things where he's gone over his skis.
Well, he's been
a blabbermouth with the press, saying things that are unsupportable at times. And so on that level, I get it. But there's another level where I think it's bad, and I think you can refer back to Koberger, where everybody was going after law enforcement saying, it's a cold case. That you don't know what you don't know. And you don't know whether due diligence has actually been done because you're not part of the investigation. And sometimes these cases do go cold, and that they're able to eventually figure it out, or maybe not. But that doesn't mean they're incompetent.
Doesn't mean they didn't.
And to start saying we're going to recall somebody if we don't get our pound of flesh immediately is a really dangerous precedent.
It's dangerous. It's also flat out wrong in this case. The FBI has been all over this case, and the FBI has sent incredibly smart, experienced law enforcement officers to try to investigate this case, and they also have not been able to find anything. This case is not cold because of incompetence of law enforcement. It's cold because they just haven't been able to figure out who did it, and that happens sometimes. There's cold cases for a reason. Not all cases can be solved. Now, if he embarrassed the county because of his antics, that's different.
Well, they did do things. They opened the crime scene too early, where they had to close it again, where the evidence was contaminated.
You had a
so he made a lot of
guy walking up to the door in the middle.
That's right.
There's no real sort of belief that, but for that, they would have solved this case.
No, that's true. But if you're looking at...
If you're looking for something that you might call incompetent,
there you go.
And critics might say that.
The other thing is, if you're running for Congress and you want to get some attention...
It's a good thing to do.
It is a good thing to do.
Latch on to the case that everybody in the state is talking about and take a stand on it.
That's right. So you kind of got to take it for what it is. This is kind of opportunistic in a way.
For sure.
But not in a way. It is opportunistic.
Yeah, it's fully opportunistic.
And you know, I don't know how people are going to come out, but if they come out by saying Nancy wasn't found, therefore recall him, that is really a dangerous road to go down.
Hi, Lauren from LA. I do agree. I think that it is extremely opportunistic to use this terrible case as a way to make a ploy for Congress. I also think it could drive people to do some weird things just so they can be in front of it and get attention. I do think he may need a recall, but I don't think it should solely be for this.
Yeah, that's why I'm split, because he did make some dumb moves.
He made some dumb moves, but as far as it being an opportunistic situation, I mean, you saw Gutierrez, he says the first 4 seconds, I'm running for Congress, and then the rest of that message is just about the Nancy Guthrie case and Chris Nanos, because he knows what's going to get attention.
Exactly.
No one, if you just say I'm running for Congress, you probably lose half the audience right away.
You're absolutely right.
Coming up.
The AI door has opened in Hollywood. A crack, but it's open.
In a big way because of who's involved. The return of Val Kilmer to a motion picture.
Be right back.
The AI door has opened in Hollywood. A crack, but it's open.
In a big way because of who's involved. Welcome back to TMZ Live. We are talking about the return of Val Kilmer to a motion picture. Yes, the late, great Val Kilmer. This was a project that he had actually signed on for. He was going to appear in this movie. He's not the main star. The film is called, and the title is interesting because of what we're talking about. It's called As Deep as the Grave.
Now, they were going to shoot this as far back as 2020, but COVID happened, and there were delays and everything else, and then he got sick.
Was sick and was not ever able to shoot his scene.
But he signed on.
But he did sign on. And now they are going to use an AI version of Val Kilmer to complete the movie. This is one of the images from the film. And the director has talked with Val's family, with the estate, and they're all on board. The director said he meaning Val, really thought it was an important story that he wanted his name on. It was that support that gave me the confidence to say, okay, let's do this. Despite the fact some people might call it controversial, this is what Val wanted.
So this is what Val wanted, the whole posthumous thing, now puts Hollywood kind of in a bind here. Do you look at this as a one-off because they are opposed to this?
You heard it all throughout the Oscars.
Right.
There were a lot of references to AI, and none of them were positive.
No, and they're fighting against the tide here.
Right.
But the question is, do they recoil and say, we're not going to buy this? Or do they say, yeah, we'll do it in honor of Val Kilmer.
In honor of Val, right.
But either way, that door is open.
It's kind of like the director is holding up Val's name as a shield to say, I know I'm going to get all this backlash for doing this, but come on, guys, this is what Val wanted.
What if somebody has bad plastic surgery and they get disfigured and they wanted to be in a movie, but they can't do it, and then they say, well, she wanted to be in the movie, so we'll use an AI for her. What's the difference? I mean, it's kind of the same door open.
It's too much of a slippery slope. I mean, they just had a huge writer's strike because of this, and a lot of that was about AI. You can't just throw... we all love Val, and it's exciting that he's going to be in there for fans, but actors are not going to be happy about this. They just aren't. Sean Astin, the head of the union, is not going to be happy about this because, like you said, it just opens the door for people to say, well...
Once you've opened that door, it's like...
Yeah.
That's right. There's no going back. They're already fighting against it. An actor passes away in the middle of a 6-movie series, like what happened with...
But it doesn't even have to be... you said, it doesn't even have to be passed away. It could be
or
whatever
they just
reason.
left.
But this was already happening with the Star Wars films when they brought back digital Carrie Fisher, when they brought back other characters. Like the war is over.
Actors are going to lose this war. It's already over. And the idea that we're not going to do it. They're going to do it, and they're going to have to figure this out.
And it's going to look weird, and it's going to make the movie suck.
Going to look weird maybe now. But AI is getting so much better every year.
There is something that AI cannot replace in human beings. There's 100%.
And that's what Astin has been arguing.
Today.
What was the video a couple of weeks ago that we showed where it was
Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt.
It
was pretty
fighting, and it
looks pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
It looks pretty damn good.
But you can tell it's AI.
But for a fight scene, it's pretty good. Now you're talking about an emotional Daniel Day-Lewis type thing. Okay, I will give you that exactly. But something like that, action, that's pretty damn good.
I know about a secret project that a major network is doing, and I'm not going to reveal what it is, but it involves AI, and it's unbelievable what they've been able to do. And this involves people who have the most critical eye looking at the AI object. And I'm telling you that it's going to transform things. It's an amazing project.
Hey y'all, I'm Bam Bam from Baltimore, and personally, first I want to say rest in peace to the legend himself, Val Kilmer. Sorry for our loss. He was a great actor, but I feel like that this could be exciting and scary at the same time, y'all. Like, this is crazy. You get what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I come with the questions of the control, the legacy, and acting within itself. What about the actors who put their blood, sweat, and tears into these projects, and the people that's coming behind these actors, and they're coming in to try to do their big one? You get what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. I feel great about it, but at the same time, it's kind of iffy. It's giving. I don't think this is
the future, and it's here now. And they can keep fighting against it, and they will.
And they're going to lose.
Yeah. Former President Barack Obama is getting ready to open up his library in Chicago. It is complete. It's going to be opening this summer.
South Side.
Indeed, yes. You always got to throw your Chicago history.
Well, that's where I lived.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
All right. Yeah. Are you going to go?
I'd like to. When I go to Chicago, I would absolutely.
But so what dignitary, what political dignitary do you think that Obama would get with him to help promote the opening of the library? Yeah.
Hillary Clinton?
Yeah. He did not go politics.
Interesting.
Anthony Edwards, the
Really?
Minnesota
ER.
Timberwolves, not that Anthony Edwards, the NBA superstar who plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Check this out. They are developing quite a bromance here.
So we're gonna see right now. Ray Charles can see this. All right, I might take it deep. See, I'm not sure you got the range. All right. That's money. Oh, come on.
Look. Left hand.
I saw that one. I was making jump shots.
Before I was born. I already know.
Before you were even thought of. Yeah, I'm getting warmed up.
Oh, I told you I was the truth.
Even when I was your age, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, they and the whole thing ends with Obama saying, "All right, we're getting ready for the
Do you remember
the library."
They're really close friends.
Do you remember when he was giving his speech? And he walked out of an auditorium and there was a basketball court.
That was the best.
And he hit.
That was
shot.
the peak aura
and he
there.
just kept walking.
Right.
He actually tried to do that again in this video, but the ball didn't go in.
That's actually, you desperately want to make it because you look so cool if you do. And he's 64 years old. Pretty impressive.
You know what's really funny is that he seems to take as much pride in that as he does in politics.
So,
which is great.
He's a good
great.
athlete.
Which I think is
Can't
great.
deny it.
They met. What was the event? Was
the
it,
Olympics.
was
Before the Olympics,
that's right.
when they.
The
And
Olympic
Anthony
team.
Edwards kind of talking trash to Obama at first. I think Barack Obama liked that about him, that like spirit, that fighting spirit.
Exactly.
So, whose house is this at?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I mean, it seems when you watch it, it seems like it's Obama's. And I don't know which one of their homes that would be.
I do have an issue.
What?
Can we go back to the original shot? There's a pink swan in the pool. A blow-up pink swan.
What's
see it?
wrong
You
with
see
that?
it?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? It's a
one
little
of his
weak
daughters,
sauce.
maybe.
Look.
He's got.
Yeah, it's okay, I'm sorry. It's a flamingo.
Right, wrong bird. but
Serious offense.
The point still stands.
But you know what? I actually love this. That you can just feel the pride when he hits a shot.
Hi, I'm Kentha from Atlanta, Georgia, and I actually love the fact that Obama took an opportunity to turn something that a lot of people deemed as kind of negative into something so positive and uplifting. I know a lot of us was not feeling the way that Anthony Edwards told Obama he was the truth, including me, but I'm glad to see that they came together, and I just love this outcome. I hope to see more of this from Obama in the future.
Yeah, no, it was really fun. I agree. I can't wait for this library, too.
Coming up.
So we know Miley Cyrus is getting ready for, actually, I think they've shot the Hannah Montana
20th
anniversary celebration. But one of her former co-stars is revealing something from the show that I am absolutely floored by.
Be right back.
So we know Miley Cyrus is getting ready for, actually, I think they've shot the Hannah Montana anniversary celebration. But one of her former co-stars is revealing something from the show that I am absolutely floored by. Jason Earles is the actor who played her brother. And
I think her little brother.
Well, I don't know the show that well, but you don't know it that well either.
Well, he was supposed to, he said he was 18 when he got the role, right?
Yes. Well, guess what? He was not 18. In fact,
not even close.
Not even close. This is what Jason revealed on his podcast, Best of Both Our Worlds.
I was desperately afraid that I was going to be fired and recast Because I had a big secret. When I auditioned for the show, I lied to them and told them I was 18 years old. Lisa London, who cast it, when she brought me in, she was like, "Hey, I know you're 19," because I had lied to her in a different audition. And she was like, "Would you be okay when you go in there? They're trying to cast it as close to age as possible. Would you lie and tell them that you're 18?" And I was like, "I think I can do that." One of the higher up network executives showed up on show night and he was like, "Hey, so you're 28." Yeah. And I was like, "I am." Yeah.
And wow. And married.
Oh, wow.
And married.
28.
Mad respect.
Playing 18. Honestly.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't playing
respect.
18. He was the character was 16.
Was 16,
right.
right.
So he was 18 playing a 16-year-old character at the age of 28. Which the only issue I have with this is I was a die-hard Hannah Montana. My bedspread was Hannah Montana. My backpack, my folders, my pencils for school, all Hannah Montana. I kid you not. I was about 14 or 15 years old. I thought Jackson was cute. I'm thinking I had a little crush on an 18-year-old boy. He's 28.
Well, as long as he didn't have the crush on you, it's fine.
But I shouldn't be having a crush on grown men, and I feel like I was duped.
You have daddy issues.
That's a lie. I didn't.
Hey guys, my name is Ashton. I'm from Houston, Texas, and honestly, I'm not really too mad at this. Now, I would not go around telling people to lie about their age. However, he wasn't letting anything stop him. Like, he was determined to get that role. And sometimes you have to be a little determined. And the fact that us as the viewers didn't even notice that he was way older, I mean, it sold itself. We would have never known if he didn't come out and say
it's brilliant acting.
Totally.
Well, you guys.
The whole idea. You're acting.
But actors portray something they're not.
He also had a baby face. His face looked like he still has a baby face to this day.
He used it to his best.
Okay, some actress gets breast implants. They're not really her breasts, but if they're casting her because of it, what's the difference? It's all illusion.
Yeah.
It's all
dangerous.
illusion.
Okay, I don't know if that was a great metaphor.
True. Well, I remember though, after like the first season, I don't know if you remember this, I remember finding out that he was older, but the rumor was that he was like 50. And like he was
50?
like, yeah, and so I thought he had that like disease where
So this came out during the show.
Yeah. I remember being a teenager, watching the show, loving the show, and being like, oh my God, he's like 50 years old, that's crazy. And you Google it and he's like 30.
But it came out during the show that he was way older.
People were talking about it, yeah.
But he didn't say, this is new that he's saying, I lied.
Okay.
Exactly.
God, that's amazing that he was 28 then?
Yeah, exactly. See, he has a baby face.
You look at
His
he
face
definitely had a
is
baby face.
so... And the thing is, the producers came and was like, oh, you're 28. You want to know how many episodes they got through before they knew that? 8. He made it 8 episodes.
Well, that's why they were like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine.
That's good. Good on him.
Coming up.
I'm watching CNN.
Right.
And Fareed Zakaria comes on. And he's talking about the war. He was saying, you know, Trump is calling this an excursion.
Right.
And it was obvious what had happened in the White House is they were talking about this as an incursion. And what he said was so interesting.
Why? The fact that nobody corrects him is a scary thing.
Be right back.
I want to talk to you guys about something I saw last night that I thought was just fascinating. So I'm watching CNN.
Right.
And Fareed Zakaria comes on, and I think he's really smart, right? And he's talking about the war, and it was very interesting. And at the end, he said, and I don't remember what it was in response to, but he was saying, you know, Trump is calling this an excursion, and not a war. And they were.
Well, he's called it both.
Right.
Yes.
He's called it both, but
Sure.
he keeps going back to excursion. And they kind of debate that for a bit. And then Fareed says, and this was so interesting, that it was obvious what had happened in the White House is they were talking about this as an incursion.
I was going to say, yes, that it would actually an incursion.
An
but
excursion is if you take your family to Catalina Island. That's an excursion.
Excursions are usually fun.
Right. They're fun and they're short. And it's let's take an excursion to Disneyland.
When you are going into a country to for war.
Not an excursion.
That's an incursion.
But Trump just misused the term and flipped it, and he heard incursion, but what came out of him was excursion. And what he said was so interesting.
Why? The nobody corrects him.
Yes.
Is a scary thing, because if they're not going to correct him on that, what else aren't they correcting him on?
Exactly. And that's what I was thinking of when I watched that. I thought, I never really thought of why he was using that term. And when he said that, I thought, wow. And that exactly what you said, that they're afraid to correct him, even on something like that.
Listen, you don't have to worry about that. We correct your spelling errors all the time. When you ask how to spell X-ray,
does not mean stop it.
And we have to tell you.
First of all, I can spell X-ray.
We would never allow that to happen.
First of all, I can spell X-ray.
We would correct you.
Secondly,
nothing to worry about.
I am still literate.
Yes.
I am still literate.
Yes, yes, you are.
That's what I needed.
What else do you guys want to talk about?
Hi, my name is Mandy. I'm from Oklahoma. And in regards to the Taylor Frankie Paul and the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives situation, what in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit are we doing? Why are we risking friendships and essentially our careers over Dakota? What are we doing? I really hope that the production stopping and halting season 6 is going to wake her up, because this is a mess and not a hot one.
Well, right now, they're not filming. I mean, right now, the women on the show are saying, we're not going to keep doing this because we're worried about the danger she's creating and how off she is.
Exactly. It's ridiculous, and it's a mess.
One more.
Hi, it's Morgan. And my opinion on the David situation and Neo may know something in regards to the way that David treats women, or the relationship that he may have had with Celeste that we don't know about. It is very unfortunately that a young teen lost their life, but also unfortunately that no adult stepped in, and unfortunately Neo was one of those adults.
And you know, I think you're right. I mean, I think that what they may have wanted was exactly what you said, which was, what was his relationship with this 13-year-old girl?
But do they need that to indict him for Celeste's murder? That seems like something that might would come up in a trial if they get to that.
But it connects the dots for the jury on how he knew her.
For the grand jury.
For the grand jury, on how he knew her, and maybe there was conflict between them over something.
Coming up.
Luigi Villasenor.
Luigi had an audience with the Pope and brought him a Letterman's jacket.
I walked in and I said, Chi-Town, stand up.
Be right back.
Luigi Villasenor, the greatest name in the history of mankind.
It is a very beautiful name, and Luigi we should say, is a fashion designer, and he had an audience with the Pope and brought him a custom-made, sort of like a Letterman's jacket.
Which the Pope gladly accepted.
For the Pope. The Pope made varsity, look at it. It's awesome.
Made varsity.
Well, Luigi is from here in L.A.
Which is, L.A. boy makes good.
Uh-huh.
And we got him at LAX, and we talked to him about meeting the Pontiff.
Just like if your mom was proud of the cake that they baked, I brought over a jacket that I made, and yeah, it went viral.
Did he love it?
I walked in and I said, Chi-Town, stand up, and he loved it. It's like just an American guy.
Easter Sunday.
Mm-hmm. It's coming up.
The doors open.
Which doors?
The doors from the balcony.
I was afraid you were going to say gates. Sorry.
Vatican Square.
Right. Yes.
Door and
he steps out into the square
in the jacket.
Wearing the jacket.
Yes.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. But Luigi would be pretty pumped if it did.
We'll see you tomorrow.